I'm crazy, Captain.
Yes.
I'm not Bro, what? Yes. I had to get rid of him.
Nah, he was being toxic.
Every time he does this every day, man.
Why are you unbanning him? Just keep
I don't
unbanning,
know,
bro.
bro. Man.
Go. One more to go.
I'm crazy, Captain.
Yes.
I'm not
Easy going right there.
Look at him.
One more to go.
chasing champion.
Yes.
I'm not kickoff.
Bro, what?
I had to get rid of
Nah,
him.
he was being toxic.
Every time he does this every day, man.
Why are you unbanning him? Just keep him
I
banned,
don't know,
Like,
bro. Man.
go. One more to go.
Welcome, everybody, to the Onward VR Master League Season 12, Week 15 Venue Showcase, the final regular season venue showcase that we will have here for Onward. Well, I suppose the final Saturday night venue showcase. We still have another one tomorrow at 12, but regardless, we are here for some Onward action. For those that maybe don't know what Onward is, it is a 5 versus 5 military simulator where one team, the attacking team Marsoc, attacks the defending team Volk. The attacking team is trying to get within a certain radius of the objective and capture the objective by entering in a 7-digit code. The defending team is trying to prevent that from happening by defending the objective and eliminating the enemy team. Vice versa, if the attacking team eliminates the defending team, they get 1 point. If they capture, they get 2 points. And so it's your standard search and destroy style of game mode, but brought into virtual reality in the game of Onward. You may see underneath me a couple of items, a couple of to be determines. Those are the bans for the afternoon. The home team gets to ban the first map. The away team gets to ban the second map. There is a select map pool that these teams can choose from, and so they are oftentimes banning from strength or weakness. We can dive into the stats in a little bit here, but I do want to also get our first map of the day up on the board just in case we hop right into the action, because both teams are in lobby and ready to go. Bazaar is where we're going to be kicking things off. These two squads, Ember and Legacy, dominant teams in the VRML, very high in the regular season ladder, but not quite up into the top 7. So, if anything, we're getting a preview of what we can expect to see from these teams next weekend in the Challenger Cup. For those not in the know, the VRML hosts seasons for select VR games. Onward is one of those. We've had 12 seasons played so far of Onward in the VRML. It's over 5 years of VRML operating and running Onward leagues, or running Onward seasons, I should say. And at the end of every season, we take the top 7 teams and have them. The top 7 teams get to qualify into the postseason tournament. We then have a Challenger Cup where every team that has played, is registered in the VRML for Season 12, can compete for a chance to be that 8th team that goes on to the postseason tournament. The postseason tournament includes what is now a $7,000 in cash and hardware prize pool that comes from the league sponsors. This is ultimately what all of these teams are competing for, and so again, just as context, This is maybe a preview of a battle that we could see next weekend in the Challenger Cup, because both of these teams will have to compete in the Challenger Cup if they want a chance at going up into the 8th position there in the postseason tournament. Mayhow kicks things off for Legacy with an early kill as they peek out and catches the tail end of the cross. Still, though, Rob and Neil managed to get over across that South Street, and we are right into the action out the gate here as Mayhow has caught one and Sickness is coming back to reinforce, it seems. Regardless, Legacy up 5-4. Sickness catches another, making it 5-3.
Echo 4.
There's so much to talk about. We didn't even dive into the teams, how long they've been around in the league, dedication that some of these players have put in. Sickness is certainly one of those players that has been around in the league for a very long time. They've gone through several different teams, I think originating with SMC Tactical. And since then, they really have been a key element in several teams being stood up and climbing up the ladder. Legacy certainly has done a good job, as we see a trade here in the South, to climb up that ladder in their 2nd season of the VRML. They've been around for only since season 11. And that's to say that this as a team, not... Well, that's a good nade. Close enough to Rob. That's to say as a team. Sickness and I think some of the other players on the squad have been in the league for years. Just not necessarily on this... under this Legacy name. Ember, on the other hand, have been a team that's been around in the league since season 6. That also is several years of regular season gameplay, and they've certainly undergone some roster adjustments as well, but still, 2 very experienced teams duking it out here this afternoon, and I'll have to see if Neil's going to be able to get this res over in the South, because Rob is still alive. And I don't even know if Neil knew that Rob was alive. I think maybe they thought they got confirmed off of that grenade.
If he peeks out, depending on where he peeks out at, no.
Okay.
Maybe in the long range, but...
Neil might be able to get them around the corner, and they can without exposing themselves. So now Neil and Rob are up in the South. Ember is up to 3. Mayhow's still here holding a late angle, waiting for Ember to push in. A standard strategy on defense that you'll see. Players oftentimes setting up to hold an angle that is like a late commit angle. So Neil, if they end up crossing without any smokes or utility, will be completely exposed as soon as they peek this corner, and that's what they're waiting for. Neil will have to check, and they don't. Oh, Mayhow clicks empty on their gun. Detonate the C4, but that doesn't find anybody, and Rob finds the kill.
Nice, good kill.
Neil, oh my goodness, they're not going to survive much longer. Sickness does find that kill. Sheriff finds Snakebite down in the South. We're into a 2v2, and we have to keep our eyes sort of split here. We'll stay focused. This man gets one down in the South, but on objective is completely open. Sickness has dropped off, and Rob is taking control of the objective courtyard. Legacy are going to have to retake here with 2 minutes left. Oh, excuse me, the objective isn't in this courtyard. Wow, they fought over this courtyard so heavily. I forgot where the OBJ was. It's actually makes sense now why scientists and Sickness are here, but back by the Humvee. So Rob still has the ways to go. It really felt like we were battling over that courtyard objective for a second there. Oh. I was too into the team histories. Pay attention where it was. Rob now going to try and work into the 1v2. Sickness may identify this, but I think they're playing it pretty tucked in. A bit of a risk to check that long line. You're asking for a fight, and Sickness knows that if they stay tucked in against this wall, that they won't be exposed to that line. So they're staying in against, looking for that objective defense, and Rob now pushing in back from the South. Probably the smart decision, but there's so much danger in the South, really. It's a big gamble. There's plenty of lines of sight that can be taken. And actually, what Rob did there was throw a distracting smoke south that does pull Scientist's attention. It opens Rob up for the strict 1v1 against Sickness. But again, Sickness is not going to peek that line because they know of this exact risk that Rob is looking for. Rob flash clearing into blue room. Now they will run in to Sickness's corner.
He's in the blue room.
The call out comes just in time. Sickness would have turned to find the shots, but it actually is a trade. 15 seconds left in Legacy. Well, just barely take their defensive round. And now that we have a little time to breathe here, we can dive into the stats of it all. We always talk about bands of strength and weakness, and I am curious what the bands here were for today. Downfall only played once by Ember this season, so that's, in my opinion, a band of weakness. Legacy 6-4 on Downfall this season, so a bit of a both, a band of weakness and strength. A good band to be taking for Ember because they're getting rid of a powerful map for Legacy and one of their worst. And over on Legacy, we have the Snow Peak band. Played it once and won it once, but in comparison, Ember have played it 3 times this season and won it twice. So a little bit more in-league experience playing on Snow Peak, but we also don't even know what's been going on behind the scenes, right? All of these teams scrim and play against each other throughout the regular season outside of league play. And so, you know, there's also data and information that they have from their own experiences that they're applying here. And so maybe, you know, they've had a bad series on Snow Peak against Ember. Either way, we're here on Bazaar for round number 2
Still say we should face
as
him.
we get back into it. We'll see what Ember do
We
on
should've done
defense.
operation. Got them to
Legacy on the attack. That's how it works. We swap sides, but stay on the same objective. You will notice that Legacy have a different spawn point. Marsoc, the attacking team, has several different spawn points that are randomized per each objective. And so even the attacking team doesn't know where they're going to be attacking from. A couple of good smokes, including an M203, do deny vision here, and Legacy is going for a very fast play. Sickness tries to get through that smoke. Sheriff was crouched and looking for the ankles. Jerp confirms their kill, so Snakebite can continue the rotation in from the south. Mayhow and the rest of the team still trying to seemingly play it pretty quick, but the pace has slowed a touch here. A couple of good smokes on the alleyway so that they can cross. All very tactical movements coming in from this Legacy play here. A very practiced play on Marsoc.
I'm gonna cover Erdman.
Could have gone much worse if Sickness could have gotten inside that objective space, but regardless, Legacy is now setting up for the encirclement play. Look at the overhead. You can see they've worked one up through that center courtyard area. I believe it's, yeah, Mad Scientist on that team corner. Switch goes down. Snakebite finds a nice kill. I'll have to pop over to Mad because I'm sure they're going to be pushing through this center soon enough. That south push is not slowing down. Hailfire has to crash back as Sheriff goes down on objective. Neil Breen now still has eyes on, and Sheriff can communicate if someone's capping, so doesn't have to panic out of their corner just yet, but there are eyes here. There comes the south hold from Hailfire, finally suppressing Snakebite and Mayhow. Oh, but there's a smoke. Neil can't see. They have to fly out, and they catch Mayhow. In the chaos, Jerp has pushed inside objective building. No, they haven't. Yes, they have. Sheriff goes down. And now Neil is crashing back towards Jerp, and they find Jerp on objective. Quickly goes down to the back shot from Mad Scientist. Objective open as Hailfire is crashing back and catches Snakebite out. We're into a 1v1. Scientist is going to be on the corner in the trade. Ember find themselves their defensive round. What a round 2. to tie things up one apiece. You need to stay hydrated for this one, folks. And really speak from the diaphragm, because it's going to be fast-paced and high-octane action. These two teams, so far at least, actually setting an interesting pace. If you do think about it, a bit of a slower, I wouldn't even say really, a more disrupted push came in from the likes of Ember. That defense from Legacy in that first round, very different than the defense from Ember here. Ember much more tucked in around the objective space, although Hailfire down in the south does actually play a key role. They're kind of off of that objective space like we did see from the Legacy defense. Still, I love to see the difference in strategy coming in at the end of the day, especially with Ember on that play in full force. You know, or excuse me, Legacy with that play on the south in full force. You know, Ember's really going to have to be on their ball on defense and be ready for some good coordination coming in from the Legacy side of things. To the same extent, how do they adjust against what was a pretty aggressive defense for Legacy? As we go to our next objective, every 2 rounds we change OBJs. That is randomized, so the teams don't know where it's going to be before they start the series. And a quick spawn for Ember pushes Sheriff into a very fast death. Thickness had gotten up against a bit of an off position against the wall. Avoided detection from Hailfire through the 2-story there.
That guy fell back. There's another one on
Tucked
objective.
in to cover that lane.
Oh, I was wrong then. I'm sorry.
A bit of banter there as Germ does go down in a team kill. Oh no, an unfortunate one at that.
Team kill, blue.
Switch calls it out, realizes that what they've done. And look at this, a quick advance here, wasting no time. Just gonna fly up to the objective space, put shots on, and be rotating around here. Now trades with Snakebite, another trade.
He's down, but I down.
On the stairs. And Sickness has Neil Breen behind them. This will be an easy kill for Neil. And Ember, with just one left alive, are technically into a 1v1. That could be remedied and turned into a 1v3 if everyone gets picked up here. Snakebite is going to cross over. Neil's on the other side of the wall, so no one's going to be detected here, and I do wonder if they are going to get this res on the Mad. Wonder if Mad has communicated that they are down and resable.
Between the buildings, between the buildings.
They're looking for the body.
Go back, everybody go.
And there they found it, Snakebite.
I can't get the revive.
Oh, wow. You know, one thing to always note is that the sometimes the movements we see, especially on the ragdolls of bodies, are not what
I'm gonna cover blue room.
is happening client side. So I think what was happening there is Mad Scientist was down actually between the buildings, but when they had been shot, the physics of the Spectate client popped them up onto the top of the wall. So if anyone's confused how the heck that happened, that's what happened there. Neil does end up full killing Mad Scientist though, and that is now a 1v2 as they pick away at this Legacy defense one at a time. Neil now may set up for another opportunity onto Snakebite. If they're not careful, they can push up onto this pallet and pop over the wall. And May comes out. Snakebite finds the head of Neil Breen, and Legacy with Mayhow alive on objective take the W. Quick look at the KDs for these first 3 rounds. I'm sure Switch not too happy that we're looking at it. -1 and 3. Neil Breen 5 and 3. Other standout shooters 5 and 3 for Mad Scientist. But what a crazy couple of rounds we have had so far, and I think this is going to be the pace, quite frankly, for the rest of this series. It is going to be a variety showcase. A perfect showcase if you are new to Onward and trying to learn and see all the different types of play styles that you can sort of execute in a game of Onward. So far, we've seen some aggressive defense. We've seen some aggressive offense. We've seen some coordinated plays. I am curious if we'll see a bit of a pace shift in that maybe we'll see some slower maneuvers on from the offensive side, but I think both of these teams prefer aggression, so I do anticipate us to be also keeping with this relatively quick pace. And again, these teams both have an exceptional amount of knowledge in the game. A very good understanding of this map and all of the maps that are in this map pool currently, especially considering we don't have any new maps for maybe even over 6 months that are in the current map pool. So these teams have really played all of these maps thoroughly, practiced them thoroughly, and at this rank, you have to kind of be good at all the maps. If you want to get up into the top 20, which is where these teams are, you have to be good at all the maps. And so we go back into the action for round number 4, as already shots fired out the early spawn here, and Green does find one as Snakebite continues to suppress up through the center. I think Neil caught that kill over on the north side, and Mayhow is looking for the refrag if Neil continues to push up on that north street. A bunch of continued suppressive fire here to come in as Sickness slowly works their way up ever closer to this objective space. This suppressive fire is also audio suppression, so in the event that Sickness makes a sound or a footstep, all these bullets and ricochets and LMG fire is drowning out the noise of Sickness. And now those shots have been taken. That given away. Look at how quickly they rotate out just in time to avoid switch. Neil Breen catches another over in the north. As Rob team kills Hailfire inside in the chaos. Another from Neil on that north side. And that Scientist finds one in the east, and just chaos across the board. Hard to track all of the kills coming in across the entire map here. The east, the south, the north. Neil's finding one. The rotating Legacy's pushing inside. Sickness getting aggressive on objective. Chaos being bred here as Neil tries to crash back to the objective space. And here, Mad Scientist, who is applying the pressure, but they don't have the luxury of not checking objective, especially if Sheriff goes down. And now Neil not going to have control there of that side. Mad Scientist and Sickness can pinch in onto the objective. And with the smoke out there, Sheriff Lake, not completely unable to detect this push. They certainly can peek this corner. Oh, and catch out Sickness. A nice bit of shooting there to swing wide. And now it's up to Mad Scientist to try and put Legacy up 3-1. They're going to push down a... Well, they have a lot of time. They don't have to commit to this lane here that Sheriff can just blind fire.
Thank you for making noise.
Thank God. Wow.
Clutching the round and taking a sigh of relief as we keep things tied 2-2. We're not going out of the formula yet that we've seen. Roughly 3-minute rounds. 1v1s to end it. These two teams, it really does have me excited for the Challenger Cup, because again, these teams are true competitors to that 8th place position. I truly believe that in season 12 of Onward, the VRML, the top 20 teams are all relatively close in skill. Obviously, from 1st to 20, there is a gap in skill, but there's potential for that 20th team to have an exceptional series and just be locked in and hitting their shots and challenge a number 1 team. That has me really excited about the Challenger Cup, because that means that every team that's ranked 8th and below in that regular season ladder can compete for a chance to be that 8th team. And it's going to be a lot of games like this and a lot of very aggressive attempts for caps, I think. The Challenger Cup has an interesting and unique meta that we can talk more about between rounds, but it's a very exciting and quick-paced bit of action to tune into. And so I would encourage you to stop by next weekend over on twitch.tv/onward_VRML. We go back to it. Kayat objective, a tough one to defend historically. We'll see how Legacy does it. C4 was in hand there. Don't see a lot of C4 use on Bazaar in general. And Mayhow committing to a quick defensive push-up that could allow for some interesting shots here. I like this line of sight. Onto the ankles of Rob, down they go. An early pickup that pauses Hailfire's bit of aggression and disconnects the offense on this east side a little bit as Neil continues their swing over to the north. Hail has to pause. They're going to find the bullets of Mayhow as well. Sheriff did catch one. No, Switch, I think, did catch one through the center. And Natos nearly catches Mad Scientist. And as they try and push Mayhow, no one's there. Another goes down through the center from Jerp, and Legacy put out the flames and keep Embers cold here as Neil in a 1v4. Really the first dominant defensive round on display so far. Of course, Neil has also put up a couple of clutch rounds, so maybe they can find a few kills on this north side in particular. They have a lot of time to work with, but again, they're in the 1v4. Interesting loadout here. Not often you see the iron sights. Wonder if they heard Snakebite rotate into that corner. And truly, there actually may even be an option for a cap. Ember could take this map if they can get 2 points here. On this objective, you can work yourself up into the second floor and punch in a code. And from the north side, which is where Neil is now, it's actually pretty easy to get to those stairs quickly. If Snakebite goes down, Mad Scientist is going to be one of the only things defending that side. Snakebite flashes out and does catch Neil. But a counter flash from Neil as they are blind pushes Snakebite back. An additional bit of smoke as just a sound deterrent also deters Snakebite, and we're into a bit of a utility toss. Now the north push not going to be so easy. And they are getting flanked as Jerp tries to rotate around to the backside of Neil. Neil almost seems wary of the threat, but wasn't quite ready for it as Jerp picks up the kill, and Legacy do find themselves a commanding W and one of the first ones in the series. Just a point, but does set them up for map point here on the assault. They could potentially get 5 points. The most you can possibly score on a map. But it's not something they need to do. So if they want to, they can instead go for the kills instead of trying to push up and get close enough to the objective to capture it. That can kind of change the overall approach that you have on offense if you are instead looking for kills and not trying to get close to the objective. You're just trying to find the defenders around it. But still, you know, roughly a 3-minute round. We are really sticking to that pace. These teams really do have a timing and a rhythm down. Just interesting to see that both of their offensive styles are so similar in that pacing. I mean, oftentimes it's a little bit quicker. But this is a mix of aggression and then, you know, subterfuge, if you will, where you're trying to find a pick or two before you work up to the objective. Still, though, not really a change in pace has come in to throw anybody off, and that is a big element in an offense. If you can attack an objective at 1 minute left in the round, but also be successful at attacking it at 4 minutes left in a round, you really have a lot of options, and you can throw off your defense significantly as Sickness flies forward here to catch Hailfire. It's an early pickup that does really set up this offense. A big kill that opens up the trio that's rotating from this side to then push up to the north uncontested. No one's going to threaten them all the way until they get to the objective. And Legacy are going to be able to fully surround at least this northwest side.
Delta 1,
Sickness
Delta
tried
1.
to rotate up through the center. They get caught out from the 2-story. Now Mad Scientist looking for that refrag, but won't be able to find it. The north still slowly working their way forward, assessing the windows, making sure no one's there. And now as they do get loud on this cross, Sheriff may be able to hear footsteps. And it's going to prompt some utility. It just misses. Neil now peeking out the door. They're going to get caught. Mad goes down up through the center. Apologies for that. And Legacy are into a 3v3 with control of the north. And I feel if you lose control of the north, it really does get to be a bit of a dicey defense on Kayat. You can see some big rotations coming in as Rob swings around to the objective. They do lose Sheriff, who was rotating up onto that second floor. And it's now going to be an interesting fight. Legacy can work up. Oh no, switch team kills. And they're now alone. As they check objective to make sure it's not getting capped on, they are going to rotate back to their team kill and get the res. No one's going to kill them on the Legacy side. And now switch crashes back to the objective. So I imagine defend at this north entry point. They have to hold these stairs. And Rob does trade with Mayhow out the back. Confirm comes in there to switch. And that's that. Snakebite finds the final kill. That's all Legacy needed to take the map and put themselves up in this series. Ember's map pick at that. Not an ideal start for this Ember squad. Now Legacy get to choose where we go for map number 2. We're looking at stats and history. It's likely to be Subway. Either that or Suburbia. Bazaar, their third most played map this season, so maybe not the best choice from the likes of Ember to be picking it. far, but it was also Ember's third most picked map, so you go with where you're comfortable. You could also be headed to Cargo, but that's been very lightly played by Legacy. It is a, in my opinion, glaring weak spot for the Ember team. 8-0 on Cargo this season. And on top of that, those losses have not been that close, with a 30% round win rate. So, you know, the question is, do you pick a map of strength or a map of weakness of your opponent? And interesting. We are headed to quarantine for number 2. And I don't know why Legacy would have chosen it. Again, it goes back to the earlier point I made that stats and what we see in regular season isn't necessarily all of the information. And Quarantine played twice by Legacy this season. In comparison, it's the second most played map from Ember. Granted, it's also a map that they've lost a lot on, 6-1. And so we'll have to see if Ember can do something about this Quarantine win rate here, or if Legacy will be just prepared for the Quarantine map pick. Again, I say these teams have experience in all of the maps, so even though they don't have the stats for Season 12 on Quarantine, rest assured they've played it, I'm sure, plenty of times in Season 11 and all of the times before that when they were on different teams throughout the course of the operation of the VRML. So, not a unfamiliar spot. The stats do, again, not paint a perfectly accurate picture of what we can expect here today. And, I mean, frankly, I anticipate a pretty good back and forth, just like what we've been seeing throughout Bazaar. The only thing I think we will change is a slight adjustment in the pace. These rounds may be a bit longer, so that's simply because the map is a little bit larger. Well, a lot bit larger. Into it we go, though, for round number 1. Map 2 on Quarantine. Legacy on the attack to start things off. Ember on the defense. And already Neil connecting with Mad
roof.
Scientist. Neil's really been a standout shooter for the Ember squad today so far. Snakebite continuing with their aggression is going to dial in onto an angle on Hailfire if they decide to pop up onto that roof. And Snakebite can sit here and hold that angle for quite some time because the rest of their team has to work their way all the way up to gas station and eventually contest Sheriff Lake. And even then, they have to then push up to that objective building. And so it's all a matter of timing and patience and making sure that you're all synced up on the attack. And Legacy have put out some good attacks, so I imagine they have a planned bit of timing here for their assault. Here, look at the overhead. You will also see one swinging around deep into that far northeast side. They're going to rotate all the way down southeast and try and get on the other side of those dunes. As will they make it uncontested, as Hailfire does have a long line here.
Echo 2, they're crawling across the street. I got
2
one.
kills there. Snakebite trying to push in. They go down quickly. Switch popped up on through that center window, and the Legacy attack gets shut down. And now the duo has to try and work up, and a nice timely rotation. Hailfire switch almost catches Mayhow out with a Hailfire of bullets. just barely tucking in
Yeah,
on the
he's
two
coming out
story.
the bushes.
Sheriff does catch a kill out the window
I got
there,
one,
denying
I got
Jerp.
one.
Ember have 5 alive on their defensive round here, and know where Mayhow is up through the
Copy,
center.
copy, two.
Legacy
Call.
on their assault getting denied. We now go into the 1v5, and Mayhow is going to try and rotate around from the west side. Sheriff Lake, though, is still here in gas station. And there's just so many angles to check without an accurate kill count. Can't afford to miss shots either, because as soon as you do shoot, you're giving away. And for now, they do seem to have lost a little bit of the identification on Mayhow. Seems that they don't know where they have rotated off to, and so for now, Mayhow could potentially find 1 or 2. The smoke's going to give their positions away. Try and rotate back off that smoke. And look for any rotations. Ideally, this draws gas station's attention and Switch's. But Switch sees that. And, oh, a nice pickup there. Hellfire up top goes down. Mayhow with a quick double sets things up. As they now push over to objective, they're not getting hit from the back yet. They catch Neil. That's a 3. Looking next for Rob is the question, and they don't seem to be looking for Rob as they deny the vision. They're pushing up. The call-out comes in, and they tuck in. Turning around and catch Rob. No. Mayhow.
I'm so sorry.
Nearly clutching this for Legacy, but Ember with 2 left. Keep it going and put their points on the board. They are not going to allow Legacy to run away with a lead on map 2. Right here, Mayhow hears the audio in that second story, and just great. I really such quick snapshot there to find that double. Almost sets themselves up for that full win. Catches the third, and whew, you'd love to see it, but doesn't quite come together. And Ember do put up what was a very good defensive round. In a 5v1, that's a perfect start for them on defense. And now we swap sides, stay on that same objective, go back at it. Shout out to everyone that is tuning in, whether you're on Twitch, Meta, YouTube, or Horizon venues. We appreciate you stopping by and hanging out this afternoon. An exciting bit of back and forth for sure as we get back to it. Map number 2, round 2. Oh, and look at this. A full west push coming in from Ember. They get that north spawn. They're going to apply a very similar amount of aggression that we saw from Legacy. He's setting up early. The only difference here, Hailfire going to work up to the 2-story. This is a risky bit of peeking here, as they could find Jerp, but are also exposing themselves significantly.
No. use this as 100%, but I was watching the gas cross and I didn't see anything until I went burning.
Eek, I need your eye. Shit, on the hospital. He's on the ground next in the corner.
Shots come in there. Jerp finds the kill. Rob could push up and get the res. We're going to try for it. Luckily, Hailfire has a small ledge to deny the ability for Jerp to full kill that. And Jerp is reloading while Hailfire gets picked up. I think they just need the shoulder, though, and they are going to find that full kill.
Somebody middle.
Rob's still there in the two-story, though. Maybe able to peek and find a refrag if Jerp's not ready for another there.
Did I TK in the middle?
Rob does finally get that kill.
The one that killed Hailfire. That
As the rest of Ember works their way up across gas. Starts to push into Mayhow's position. Where is the... Oh, they have one way away. Sickness deep in the north. A risky move to be making, especially with Ember's pacing. They are likely to time their push soon in the next 30 seconds. Going to come down to Mayhow weathering this storm, and Snakebite going down deep there really opens up this side of the defense. And Sickness is so far away.
Got one at gas station.
But they
There's one
do
more in
catch
gas.
one. And they do have an angle here down into this side, and they catch another. Sickness's risky position on this set two-story in the north has paid off as they've shut down the push from the west. Rob, now concerned about Sickness over on that side, is not pushing in from the center. Ember are pushed down to just 2. Ooh, and Rob's not going to see this rotation either, as Sickness does get past.
I think they're only Echo 2. I'm at middle tank.
I was about to say, it is risky to be rotating around this aggressively, but making sure to call it out is important. Mad Scientist otherwise may have team killed Sickness here. Still, though, we wait. Rob and Neil Breen working their way up through that center rubble. Oh no, and a team kill coming in from Rob. That sets them back into a 1v3, and off the team kill, Sickness knows where they are. A tough way to lose your attacking round, but that's that. As we get all tied up here, one apiece. Map number 2. We talked a bit about it earlier, but the VRML is supported by sponsors. Those sponsors include ProTube VR, which offers fantastic stocks that help stabilize your aim in game. I highly recommend you check out their products if you're looking to get a little bit more accurate with your sniper rifle in really any shooter. And on top of that, they also have haptic feedback versions where you can really feel the recoil of the gun when you're shooting to really get that extra bit of immersion. Amongst a bunch of other pretty cool stock products, I'd recommend you check out ProTube VR. We are also sponsored by a few other companies, but we'll dive into that a little bit more as we go back into the action for map number 2, round 3. New objective, swap sides. That's how the game of Onward works. As Legacy now has one of the most faraway spawns from this objective location, so likely to be one of the longer rounds we've had in this series. I do say that, though, but Legacy is full sprinting across here as a team. No one really lingering back Mad Scientist does work up into the 2-story to check any over-aggressive crossing coming in from Ember, but Rob has halted their initial
Got it.
push and is set up and waiting. They're picking a few shots there, down into the objective space.
One's on ambulance.
And Rob, even after hearing that, not over-aggressing and pushing out. Hale is up on the 2-story, though, and is looking down here, but they're holding a late angle. They're not getting aggressive. And Jerp does
Ambulance
catch
down.
one over by the ambulance side. That opens up beyond objective space for Sickness to push forward. They lose another up top as Hailfire goes down. And now Neil has to push out. They don't know if somebody's on the objective capping right now. Rob still hasn't rotated back. Neil completely swings out. They go down. Sickness tries to tuck in, but Rob is there to defend. Finds one, looking for more, but it's they're in a full rotation. They find Snakebite. Sheriff comes crashing back. Legacy are into a 2v2, but Rob is going to be able to get this res, so it should be a 3v2 here.
So syringe me.
Mad Scientist and Mayhow, just a tough, a touch out of sync here.
Here's the syringe, here's the syringe.
Got him.
Oh, the syringe
Alright,
tossed
I'm gonna
there out
watch
to
my
the
back
center.
for
Does
that.
that get picked up? No?
Hey, cover
Doesn't
me. I'm
seem
gonna
to.
come through this little side here.
Yeah.
As Rob rotates back. Is a risky bit of rotating. As Mad Scientist has already crossed and is on the other side of the rock. And Mad's gonna peek and find the kill. Mayhow on the other side of the wall in the street avoids the detection there. And Sheriff is inside. There's an opportunity for Mayhow to push in, find Neil, and potentially secure that cap. Mad just pre-firing some potential defensive positions. I don't know if Mayhow has any utility left to really do anything about Neil tucked into the corner here. You can see Mad Scientist at the back there working around, trying to figure out what they want to do. Here they didn't know Mayhow's exact position, but they are now going to swing back over to that south side. Could very likely get into a bit of a firefight with Sheriff Lake. There's the smoke. Doesn't really cover this line, though, and Sheriff is dialed in on the Mad's corner. There's one. Mayhow now alone up against Neil. Does actually have utility as the smoke comes in on objective. Sheriff has to work off of that position. If Neil goes down, it's all over. Mayhow now pushing up to the objective. Do they get there before Sheriff has a line? No, they don't. Sheriff able to pop up over the top. They could have also then hit up onto this side and then dropped over, so they could have still defended from the roof, but still nearly working themselves into that smoke for the cap. As Ember hang on to their defensive round. Oops. Maintain the lead here on this map pick, and well, we now go into what could be map point. If Ember can get close enough to this objective on their attack and capture it, I'll get them 2 and the map. Take us to a map 3 decider, which would be exciting. Back to our sponsors, as we didn't get all through all those. VR Cover also supporting the VRML. They are a fantastic well, I guess they have a variety of products, but in particular, they offer really great VR face cushions, significantly enhancing the comfort of your VR devices. They have all the different types. I do recommend you check out VR Cover. It's a must-buy for any VR headset that you have if you don't have one already. In addition, HyperX coming in with the HyperX Quadcast S that you're hearing my voice on. Also the Cloud 2 wireless headphones. And as part of the sort of prize pool distribution, Bluetooth earbuds that can connect wirelessly to your Quest or Quest 2. They offer, again, a bunch of great products, including mouse and keyboard that I use actively on a day-to-day basis and have had zero issues for now well over, I think, a year and a half. So an easy product to recommend. Easy, well, suite of products to recommend from the HyperX team. We really do appreciate their support. Back into it we go, though, for our next round in map 2. Europe sets up an aggressive forward position. They'll be on the hunt for any early kills. In particular, they do seem to be, well, actively watching the whole north front, which can be risky. Especially into this position, there's a lot of angles to be shot at from. Yeah, they seem to maybe not feel so comfortable there. Sickness catches Hailfire as they get very aggressive on defense over into this north side. Sheriff Lake
Burning down.
does
Burning
get
down.
jerked
Echo
down
1.
inside that burning building.
Delta 1. Correction.
You can see Snakebite is looking for an angle there as Switch just throws some rounds out. Sickness again, very far off the objective. Getting aggressive on a flank here.
Moving up to roof again.
They actually catch the side of Rob as well. And the aggression just completely catching Ember off guard here. And I think this is what you can expect. Again, in the Challenger Cup, you're going to see aggression. You're going to see hunt for rounds. And Legacy, well, they're on the hunt now. Sickness takes up control of this 2-story. They have a great line of sight down into that cross, and it's just going to be so hard for this Ember team to work up from this gas station side.
Bravo 1.
Yeah, they don't have any idea of Sickness's position there, and then Sickness is going to catch another.
Got a 4K, boys. Let's go.
4 kills for Sickness there, 7 and 2. At the end of round number 4. Pretty solid job. Very much keeping the Legacy team in this one. As we do swap OBJs again, moving over to Burning Building. Although no longer burning, historically it was. So it still holds that name. Does also go by Rubble. Plain knows a variety of callouts for this area, but that's where the objective is located, on that underside, and a tough one to defend. Especially if you lose control of this east side. So I imagine we'll see an investment in taking control of actually the south on defense. So if they can get up into this 2-story building and have good lines of sight down into the courtyards and that objective cross. Depends, of course, on where the spawn is for the offensive Legacy team here. As mentioned earlier, it is randomized per each objective, so you actually don't know where your opponent will spawn in, and you don't know where you will spawn in as the attacking team right up until it happens. Back into it we go. Round number 5.
I need you to come with me straight underneath. Because we're going to go for
Double the sound effects.
Mahu, come on. Straight under middle with me.
Come on.
And triple the sound effects, because I just did them too.
One cross.
Pretty cool.
Alright, I'm going to go way wide.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Serpent Snakebite taking control of the south.
Don't worry about it.
Rest of the team working in from the underground with Sickness and Mayhow. Very likely to challenge the objective space early, which it seems Switch is ready and waiting for. The rest of this offense, yeah, Neil does take control of that 2-story. And so they do have coverage of the cross here. What they actually aren't really watching is that south side. As Neil isn't dialed in, oftentimes you'll see a shooter through this window. That's not the case here. Neil's instead set up watching that west side. It really feels like it's a bit of a weak coverage on the east. But they are also just playing it tucked in and disciplined, and so far, no one's finding anybody. Neil actually checking late. Does get one, but they have to tuck themselves in because there's another there that just starts dumping around. Snakebite does manage to make it across, too, off of that suppressive fire. And I don't know if Neil is going to be ready for Snakebite to be so close. They're going to come. Ooh, that's a flash. Probably goes through the window. Yeah, and Snakebite just has to slowly work their way up to the door, and they should be able to find the ankles on the stair here. Mayhow up through the center, catches one. Sickness very close to switch.
Tank courtyard area on the road.
Neil has to push up and out, and that actually saves them. And they're going to start shooting at Sickness. They run out of ammo, have to reload. Sickness is punching in the code, and they kill them just before
That's a kill.
they enter it in. And now Neil still checking if they go back to the stairs. Snakebite has an angle and is waiting for Neil to go back in. Oh, and here's Neil.
I have 2 kills. There's one to southeast.
No, they're not going to go inside. Snakebite's going to have to work up to them. Really got to be patient and quiet at that. If Snakebite makes any noise, it gives away this line that they have right now.
Tank courtyard building. I have a shot. I'm gonna take it.
Oh, Mad.
Are you kidding me?
Finds that
DBNO,
shot.
we still tank courtyard building.
And now Snakebite is going to have free access here. Mayhow battling Sheriff up to the center. Legacy is going for the cap. The confirm there from the roof, so now they have no line of sight. Sheriff in a key spot. Where is the other defender? It's Rob. Oh no, they're so far away, but they're in a good spot to deny the cross at the end of the day. And they do shut down 2. Turns it into a 1v1. Snakebite alone in their efforts now, and wow, what a key position there from Rob to be taken up and find these kills. Snakebite is going to drop off to the roof and avoid detection here. They will take a bit of fall damage, but worth the risk to get off of Sheriff Lake's radar. Oh, look at this. What a toss. A good nade, but it doesn't quite connect. Another counter nade goes up. It's a flash. I don't know if Sheriff meant for that to be an ambulance or if they were just kind of trying to get it to the roof. But regardless, a near death there for Snakebite, but that nade didn't go quite far enough around the corner of that ambulance. Big Snakebite gonna go back to that rooftop. Oh, and you know what? It was at the ambulance. Rob called out their position. They called out the rotation. Rob is still alive on that roof. And they're radioing in what they're seeing. They may have even seen this rotation from Snakebite. Especially now, they could see this in particular. But Sheriff, oh, they do seem to have checked that cross, and Ember lock it in with one left. Not letting Quarantine get out of hand and keeping their lead 3-2. Wow. Just barely. Fun fact, we were done with a full series at this time yesterday. One of the quickest series I've cast in a long time. But under, I think, an hour and 15 was the total broadcast time. That's 10 minutes of pre-show. So, was quite a intense series. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 rounds that didn't go longer than, that went longer than a minute. The pace was quite something. I bring that up, I suppose, because for the first time we have seen one of the longer rounds here in this series. While Quarantine does sort of breed them, I think this is our second 30-second round here out of all the ones we've played. It has otherwise been roughly a 3-minute pace, no matter where we go. Even on Quarantine, the first objective was a 3-minute pace. I imagine Ember will be assaulting right around 3 minutes on this objective as well. Spawn obviously being an element in determining that push speed, but still. The reason being is because, well, we saw it there from the likes of Legacy. They pushed it about 3 minutes, didn't have a successful push, and then had some backup time to adjust and try and
All right, so Matt and Mahu are right here.
figure
center,
out a
right?
winning round.
Yeah.
Okay. Gas station. Oh, man. You're going to have to rotate up early, dude, because if we lose Matt, we're in big trouble. Or, sorry, Mahu.
Going to be a north spawn, so this is going to be a fast round. Well, I don't know, actually, how Ember are going to play this, if they decide to commit to a far east rotation. That is the question. Neil takes shots. That gives away the spawn. Now Sickness looking for anyone crossing here. They don't actually catch Switch, who does make that forward cross up to the other side of the APC. Maybe Sickness saw it, but if they did, it pulls them off, catching Sheriff and Hale also crossing here in the east. This could be a bit of a long round if this is the route they're going to go. I think they're going to try and cross east and then push in from the center basement parking lot, but maybe also get one all the way into the south as well. Either way, we're into a bit of a hold here. The rest of the offense looking for kills. This Sickness does catch Switch, peek out. And off of that one kill, they feel confident enough to push up onto this rooftop and potentially catch the back of Rob.
Most of them.
Rob hears those comms, and Sickness catches another.
Echo 3.
Now Utility coming on to the street they were watching. They're still watching the west. They don't even know that there's smokes on this side, and Sheriff is out in the middle of the street. That Hailfire is here, and Sickness does go down. Sheriff catches that kill. Legacy are down to 2, but so are Ember. All at the Snakebite and Mayhow. Snakebite rotating farther away from objective when they should be crashing in to support Mayhow, who's alone now on that objective space. But they're a little bit early, a little bit ahead of schedule. 2-minute round. Now into 2v2 with 3.5 left. Look at the overhead. Investing one from Ember into the north, and then again one up through the center. Hailfire can get a line down into the objective space. maybe find Mayhow and open up an opportunity for Sheriff to push up.
North roof is dead.
Or they were just coming up to confirm the north roof.
All right, let's just.
Also smart to make sure that they're not putting out any comms.
Tank base.
Still, though, no push. 220 left. I wonder what they're waiting for from Hailfire there. Maybe for something like that, but Snakebite is the one that finds the kill instead. Now Sheriff Lake is alone in a 1v2 with an idea of Snakebite's position and not of Mayow's. Oh, and Snakebite may be able to find an angle here. They do. Down goes the head. We stay tied. 3-3 for map 2. Quite a map 2 for a Saturday night fight, that is for sure. Legacy and Ember putting up a good bit of back and forth. No easy rounds on Quarantine. Legacy now go on the attack, Ember on the defense, and to it I would say is a very hard objective to defend. I suppose it depends on how you defend it, though. Maybe Ember can throw a little aggression out and catch Legacy trying to rotate into position, but still. I think it lends itself into that offensive side favor, just because of the several different points that you can cap it on and how you have to defend those points with at least one of your defenders in this corner space after about 2 minutes of the round going on. So I guess they could spread 5 out, look for the kills early, try and deny control of the north from the offense, and then get one down on the objective to defend it from a cap. But, you know, with Legacy, I really think they're going to go for the cap. Sickness really likes to sneak up and try and go for that cap attempt, and this objective really lends itself to that. So
100%.
Yeah.
we'll have to see if Legacy can lock in a third one, or if Ember can push us to a map 3.
Dude, they got the southwest, southeast.
You heard it?
Southeast spawn. I'm gonna go straight for roof.
Got it. I'm going for,
Oh no.
How'd you know, Hellfire?
I say oh no, because what has happened is Legacy had a disconnect right when we loaded into the round. So when that happened, they tried to then reset by killing each other. And instead of doing it silently, they shot their guns to do it. What that does is it gives away the position of the Legacy team. And even though we've reset, they're going to be guaranteed that same spawn point. So it's always best if you do reset on offense to do it silently, so you do not give away your position. But they didn't do that. And so now Legacy are going to be going into this next round with their spawn point known. And Ember are going to be able to work off of that. And so it's going to be a very interesting start to our final round here on map 2. You do have to patiently wait, though, for the 5th to reconnect for Legacy. Seeing now if we're going to any sort of technical timeout, because hopefully it won't be long before Sickness reconnects. But they certainly do want their team captain in lobby, I would imagine. But again, a big advantage for Ember. You don't know where the enemy spawns when you're defending. If you were to know, it would be, in my opinion, an advantage, obviously, for the defense, because you could wait for them to push out from where you knew they were going to spawn. Makes it very challenging to work out a spawn without a lot of utility and smokes and all of that. So I think Legacy almost have to prepare now for that event. And in their initial rollout, they're really going to have to be overcautious. Smoke a lot of different crossings. I don't think they can be shot that early, fortunately enough, but still, their spawn point is going to be known for this Ember team right out of the gate. Tough one. They look like Sickness reconnected, so we should be getting into the action shortly. I do appreciate everyone that has been hanging out this afternoon. So you're on Twitch, Meta, YouTube, or Horizon venues. Really do appreciate you all stopping by. Waited long enough for the action. Back into it we go.
Alright.
I can't believe no one else heard that.
No, I didn't, but maybe your gunshot volume's higher than mine.
Which is going to set up in the two-story. They'll have an angle now down into, well, that initial crossing, but no one's doing that yet. It seems the push is going to favor the south, and that is because they have the most cover up through the south to work through. A lot of three-quarter cover angles that they can peek through a lot of the windows. Really minimize their exposure. Meanwhile, Sickness trying to work their way up stealthily to the objective. It gets shut down by Rob to the right. And now the rest of Legacy starts to work their way forward. Ember still with 5 up. Spread across this west side as well, with Sheriff Lake holding a late angle.
No, it's me, sorry.
And a nice spread from Legacy as they all work their way up on the map. Chirp, not likely to be ready for Sheriff to be on the other side of this corner. You can see their focus is more towards the objective. Opposition contested. Mad Scientist putting some wrench on the 2 different defenders there. Hailfire may be able to find an angle soon, though. Now before they get identified. More good shots from Mad, but just barely missing on the corner there. Sheriff Lake does catch out Jerp, trying to push up. And Snakebite gets rid of one and burning. Neil Breen able to find the refrag.
Quick one for slow burning.
And they're looking for Mad Scientist in the distance there.
Switch, confirm the gun.
Mayhow gets crossed, but is identified. Legacy are into a tough 2v4 here. Ember are looking like they're going to lock this one in and push us to a map 3 decider for the series.
There's one all the way in the west.
Ember's map pick at that too, so an ideal world for them if they can make this happen.
We got at least 2 dead, maybe 3. Delta 2, 1 at gas station.
Mad could find 2 here in the north. I'll be very bad for this defense. Does seem to be actively watched by Neil. That position is also not terribly uncommon. Hellfire crouched down on the other side of that berm, not going to be able to be identified. And doesn't look like Mad's seeing Neil behind those red barrels up top, and that's going to allow Neil to get that angle. Connect with that sniper.
Delta 3, that's killing the north.
KS coming in. Mayhow alone. Sheriff Lake's in a key position here. Sheriff wasn't here. I don't know how this whole defense would really work. Really, if Mayhow were to kill Sheriff, they actually have a pretty good line down onto the objective. Doesn't look over, though, and Ember take map 2. Push us to a map 3 decider. You know, at this stage, you really do... there's no guarantees. You never know what you're going to get on even if it is your map pick. You can do all the calculations and statistical analysis you want, but again, everyone is pretty knowledgeable of these maps, and so it comes down to the execution of your plays at the end of the day, and Ember do a little bit better job on Quarantine. Their final map choice of the day, where does it take us, is the question. We don't have really a lot of range left on the table. Wow, and look at the stats here, because I know Cargo is one of the worst maps for one of these teams. But Cargo, where we're headed for map 3. We want action and fast pace. We are getting it for our final map of the night. Legacy, Ember, crazy. Can't believe it. I thought I was right but I had to double check. This is the 8-0. They've lost 8 games played on Cargo. Comparison, Legacy have only played it twice this season and lost it once. So it's interesting that Ember would pick into this, because they're going on the attack to start it. It is their map choice for map 3. But again, the stats haven't painted an accurate picture of what we've seen this afternoon anyway, so who are we to trust them? Just feels like that's a pretty powerful. Again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on BTS. Is that what BTS stands for? Whoa. Anyway. No subs coming in either on either side. Sometimes you'll see these teams carrying 8-player rosters, and they'll bring in certain players for certain maps. Players that excel on certain spaces. They serve multiple purposes, but obviously, if you have a certain player on your roster that loves Cargo, it's nice to be able to bring them in because they're good at it, but also they bring that fresh bit of energy in the back half of a series when you've been playing for what is now over an hour and a half of competitive Onward. It's going to be a test to lock in and focus here on a quick, fast-paced map like Cargo. Things could go badly quick. But yeah. Both squads ready to go. Let's see if we're getting a timeout or anything like that, as it is certainly a good time to be making sure you're all prepped and ready and hydrated for the action. Because again, they have been playing for a good bit of competitive Onward here this afternoon. I'm sure there is some sweat accumulating in those headsets right now. So we are likely in a break. And actually, we are seeing a sub on Legacy. Dr. Duckelberg coming in. And I said it on Twitter, but Duckelberg, one of my favorite names, I think, in the league to pronounce. Really just got a lot of action in it as a word. Duckelberg, you know? They're in for Legacy, though, and we'll see if it's going to be a key element for this, I would say, relatively new squad to lock in their final W of Season 12. Would be a great way to prep and get ready for the Challenger Cup to come out on top of a W here. Here we get. We dive into round one on Cargo. Early smokes on defense, allowing for the defense to set up and cross. Duckelberg can tuck in, but they don't. And they go down. On the other side of things, aggression. Jerp and Sickness both blind. A great counter flash to deny the aggression from this duo.
You got one, Rob. Echo one. Either not in the fucking barrel because he ran in front of me on the free.
Calm from Switch is our herd, and Jerp finds that kill. They swing wide for Hailfire. They find another. Sheriff and Neil now. Oh no, a team kill, and Sheriff picks up that kill. They were in danger, but just like that, Legacy's aggression. What a nade. What a great roll. That's a team kill. Mayhow tries to push up and find the confirm, but good shots over the top to save
Charlie
them.
2, Charlie 2.
Charlie 2, yeah, there's
And
one.
we're on offense down to 3, and Mad Scientist alone in the defense. They're going to try to get aggressive, prevent
Someone just traded
a
that.
potential
That he
cap,
killed that round.
and they're just going to take the L. But around into the hand of Ember, as they run away with a little bit of momentum now off of a map 2W. They instantly take the lead on Marsoc round nonetheless. I'm sure Legacy are going to be looking to come out on their Marsoc attack swinging. The pace, about what to expect on Cargo. I think we're going to have about a minute-long round with these two teams. We're not going to be here long on Cargo. If you are new, please hit that follow button. We do Echo Arena and Onward here on the VR Master League channel, but we also do it on Horizon venues. If you do want to check out Horizon venues, I do highly recommend that you go download it now for free on your Quest or Quest 2. It's a great way to enjoy these games. You can watch them on a big screen, movie theater-like screen with other people in VR. It is honestly my preferred way of hanging out and enjoying the VR esports action. And like I said, you can get both Echo Arena and Onward there. Echo Arena will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. PST. Onward will also be tomorrow at 12 p.m. PST. So if you do want to catch more of this and check out venues, then you certainly can. Check it out right now. Matter of fact, this game is live there. But for how much longer is the question? We go into round 2 on Cargo.
Expect a cross.
Go for it.
Sheriff goes down, is rezzed though. Neil catches Mad Scientist.
Echo 1.
Quick refrag there from Mayhouse through the cracks, and another going down. As Jerp, I think, just blind fires through the smoke to catch one. Maybe they identified a shoulder. Duckelberg trying to get some utility out. Challenging Sheriff Lake there, and Jerp botches their smoke toss, has to redirect it. Rob goes down, the push coming in from Legacy to objective. Sheriff able to shut that down through the smoke. Another great nade. No, doesn't detonate quite soon enough. Switch rotates over to a key point to deny a cross. We're ping-ponging back and forth here. Sheriff goes down to Jerp on the backside. Switch able to find a quick refrag as they now dive over to objective to prevent the cap. Mayhouse there on the corner trying to punch it in. And Switch finds two over the top. Ember take a 2-0 lead. The risks of going for the cap, while worth the rewards in some cases, 2 points would have been nice, instead results in a complete loss, and now Ember are up 2-0, essentially getting themselves a cap. We swap objectives now, and Legacy go back on defense, albeit with a couple of kills. Jerp 4 and 2, Mayhow 1 and 2. I always do look at if the team's losing, are they at least finding kills, because that's a key indicator of momentum. Obviously, with the series being as close as it is, there's not a moment for either of these teams to take a breather and really play something less than what they've been showing out so far. Really great aggression coming in for both of these teams, and really those last two rounds, a good bit of counter aggression. Very rarely do you see the Volk getting that aggressive on defense. I guess I wouldn't say rarely, but it is a strategy that is risky to deploy, especially with an objective like that that doesn't necessarily need it. But still, interesting plays, and the setups. A lot of utility coming in there. I think that was key for the Ember attack. Or excuse me, for the Legacy attack, but ultimately Ember played well with those offensive smokes, so I don't know. We'll have to see as we get back to it. Round number 3.
Seriously, dude, good shit.
To be fair, though, they
see
should
if
have
they
They had all
push
the
in
time
for a
in the
cap
world.
too.
Oh yeah, they did.
As we do go to what
That's
could be
okay.
potentially map point here.
Hey, a skill issue on their part is gold on eye.
I'll take it.
Oh no, and an early kill. Opening this up for the Ember offense right away. Aggression still on display here, especially with this objective. It almost warrants it, so they do push themselves pretty far forward. Jerp hunting for early kills, but doesn't pay off. They go down.
Echo 2. Echo 2. I killed one on the left side.
One in the spot that Rob called out in that building. One in that spot.
Wow, tries to pre-fire, but Mayhow finds the kill. Push from Ember coming in. Mad shuts down one, but still on objective is only held by sickness, and now they're going to try and swing up. They do catch one, do catch two, can't get the third. Sheriff finds that kill. The objective is open. Tablets out, and wow, a key kill on the back of that smoke. If they had gotten inside it a bit more, that could have been the map and series into the hands of Ember. Instead, it's a point into Legacy. And the series stays alive. Now Legacy has an opportunity to attack that could push themselves into a lead 3-2. But we'll have to see. This objective in particular is kind of tough to defend. Does, like I said, warrant a bit of an aggressive defensive setup because you have to get in front of the objective. If you sit behind it, you can allow the team to smoke and cap behind those crates. So, not a space that you wanted to give up easily, and you do have to really contest for it on defense. And again, another minute-long round. The time between rounds almost longer than the actual execution of the play. Minute and a half timer between each round for teams to strategize. Minute and a half timer for me to joke around with you fine folks. Or inform you on the many elements of the VRML, such as the Challenger Cup. Because again, coming up next weekend, I want to make sure I'm accurate on it. Been saying it a lot. Bummer. Yes. Next weekend, Challenger Cup. AKA Open Qualifiers. That'll help us determine our 8th place contestant, but it actually will help us determine our Group A and Group B finalists, and then those two will compete for a chance at 8th place. Aggression coming in on the offense, smokes right out the gate. Neil shuts down that push. Sheriff finding Mad Scientist. Legacy not having much success on the push.
Right side, I traded.
At least Delta 1.
Now they're finding kills off of the rotations. Zuckelberg has a bit of smoke to work with. They're going to try and get over here and get utility, but Hailfire is watching and waiting. And now Mayhow alone in a 1v3 and their position known. That nade nearly catches them. Fun.
You and me.
4.5 left on the clock. Kill here. Rob doesn't need to push out and look for anything early, though. They could risk their life, and so all they need to do is sit here and defend objective. And really force the push onto their corner there. Mayhow does seem to be intending that, though. Don't want any spots to be shot at by taking this rotation, too.
One of them over by my wall.
I don't know if Mayhow knew Rob was in there until that call out. Either way, a disciplined defense is going to be what's key here. You do not want to put yourself one at a time out to Mayhow. Trust. That's a good smoke. Very good smoke. And Mayhow blind fires their way to a kill. Sheriff pushes up to tuck themselves into the other side of the barrels. And with Mayhow successfully finding one, they're going to drop back and rotate. Sheriff actually now getting into the best spot they could get to, I think. Especially now with Mayhow rotating. They are not ready for that. Sheriff catches the kill. What was a good attempt is not quite enough. Legacy go down 3-1 now. Series slipping away from Legacy with a great start on map 1 and a tough battle on Quarantine. They now find themselves for the first time in a 2-point deficit. Gonna have to work a little bit of a comeback here. But still, active kill, like I said earlier, they've got kills. And so they are successfully finding their shots. It's a matter of really that final bit of execution. They do have an easy to defend objective, I would say. Out of all of the OBJs on cargo, this one is the easiest, I think. Can't think of an easier one to defend, truly. So they at least have that going for them. Of course, they then have to attack it. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows for them, but still, there is a path for a comeback yet. It's just a matter of stopping the damage done right now, as Ember really do have the momentum. Off of a map W, a 2-0 lead. They're going on the attack. A key opportunity here for Legacy to lock in this one and keep things going.
No, not in the barrels. You're going just outside this door, behind that black cargo box.
Let me do it. Ducky,
Stay here. Ducky, then you're in this building right here, watching like this.
Okay.
A little bit of guesswork going on here. Oh, Duckelberg gets grenaded. A nice toss right at that door. That's going to rotate. It's the res. Rest of Ember working their way up. Not over aggressive though, but still within the first minute they're up into the middle half of the map. Derp connects with one. Rob does get rid of Derp there.
Left shirt, one on boxes. Oh, he's resible.
Scientist tries to cross out, and they get picked off for their attempt at the res.
Killed another on boxes.
That's two.
Mayhow goes down, and Legacy are dropping quickly. It's up to Duckelberg and Sickness.
Right side tunnel.
He's on the green.
Oh, and Jerp is down and resable. Duckelberg is going to push out here and get the res. A big res at that. Turns things into a nice 3v4 for Legacy. And Jerp is going to be able to get across after Duck goes down for their troubles. Now the duo holding the late crosses. Sickness there. catches one. Neil flies to get another. Dirt's still there. They catch the shot over the top. Sheriff connects for Ember to take map number 3, the final round. That's it. The W locked in. Whew. Quite the series to stop into this afternoon. Shout out to everybody that was hanging out and enjoyed the action here today. I do appreciate everybody stopping by, whether you were on, again, Twitch, Meta, YouTube, or Horizon venues. Thank you for stopping in. And a reminder to come back tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. PST for more top tier Onward. This time, a little bit of a preview into what we'll see in the postseason tournament as we get to see some top 1 through 7 squads duke it out. Dead Logic versus Vikings tomorrow afternoon, so be sure to catch that. It will be it for us here tonight. So again, a shout out to our sponsors, VRML, obviously contributing into the prize pool, Pro2 VR, VR Cover, and HyperX. My name is Ben Nightfire. I will see you all tomorrow at 12 p.m. PST. Until then, stay classy.